up, YouTube? It's your boy Will Motivation, and today I'm giving you guys the honest review of my 2015 Porsche 911 GT3.
You remind me of someone, but I'm not gonna mention who it is. The guy who introduces his welcome to my garage. Knowledge!
Will Motivation. Will Motivation.
You're watching Will Motivation. Here is where we create, educate, and motivate. Welcome to Will Motivation.
Okay, so as some of you guys know, if you have subscribed to my channel, I like to review all of my vehicles. This is the latest addition to my little collection of cars. If you're not familiar with my channel, I also own a 2015 Lamborghini Huracan. I have a, what is this, 2018 Dodge Hellcat. And what else? Man, I'm drawing a blank, but this is the latest addition to the collection, a Porsche 911 GT3. Now, some of you guys actually recommended that I buy one of these cars. I was excited to actually pick this car up because it's what is commonly considered one of the best driver's cars of all time. It's a 911 GT3. It has racing heritage, and we're going to talk about this car today and then take it for a drive, and I'm going to give you guys my honest review and impressions of this vehicle. And I've had all different types of cars before, and this is my first Porsche, so I was excited to actually get this car and get it ready for review. So let's talk about it. All right, first things first, let's talk about the styling. This vehicle is actually white underneath the wrap, but it was wrapped a Nardo gray, which is actually one of my favorite colors, and that is the reason why I identified it and bought it. I got the car in California. I flew out there to pick the car up and you know, check it out and everything, and then I bought it, and I was very pleasantly surprised with the quality of the vehicle. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but if you want to talk about styling, first things first, beautiful color for the car. I love the red brakes. One thing about the Porsche 911 GT3 is if it has yellow brakes, they are carbon ceramics, and if it has red brakes, they are actually steel brakes. So this has the red brakes. I actually like the red calipers better than the yellow. I don't normally like wings on cars, but since I was younger, this has always been my favorite design for a Porsche, the GT3, with the built-in wing. So I'm not a big wing person. Like, a lot of people are telling me to get a wing on my Lamborghini Huracan. I haven't done it yet. I don't think I will because I'm not big on aftermarket wings. But this vehicle has the best wing, in my opinion, of all cars. Like, of all factory OEM wings on cars, this is the best one, in my opinion. So you guys tell me what you guys think in the comments as far as the wing. But one thing I like about the styling is how it's integrated. I like how they put the 3.8, which is the size of the engine, in the back. It has a flat not V6, a flat, what they call a flat 6, which is the design of the engine in this vehicle. It's very strong. I was pleasantly surprised with the torque from the engine. But as we're talking about the styling, I like how they have the contrast here with the black and the trim. This vehicle actually has an aftermarket exhaust on it. It has an R1 Motorsports exhaust on it. Shout out to R1 Motorsports. And yeah, so that's the styling, man. These wheels are pretty much standard on a GT3. That's what the wheels look like. But I got the windows tinted on the car already. And yeah, the styling is to me, like this is as good as you're gonna get with the Porsche. You either love it or hate it. I'm not like, I love the styling of the GT3, but I'm not a fan of like the 911s that don't have the wing. But this one has a beautiful wing. All right, so let's open up the front trunk. All right. Matter of fact, look at the key, right? The key is sort of like a shape of a vehicle. That's how Porsche does it. It's a nice little key. But anyway, they got the remote open for the front trunk. Now, in comparison to the Lamborghini Huracan, there's a lot more space in the front trunk. You can actually get probably a couple of carry-on bags in the front trunk. So if you're going on a short little road trip, you can put your luggage here in the front. But another thing that's good about this car is, and then you got some like access to some of your vitals, windshield wiper fluid over there. Your which one is this? Somebody tell me in the comments which one that is. But yeah, your windshield wiper fluid is over there. That's probably your coolant. All right. There's the front trunk. So exterior styling, I would give it a 8.5 out of 10, if not a 9. All right, now one thing about storage, we just got done talking about the storage in the trunk. There's also storage behind the seats. So one thing about the GT3 is that mine actually came with carbon fiber, I'm sorry, I'm talking about bricks. It came with carbon fiber seats, bucket seats. These are like racing seats, man. And you either love these or you hate them. Like me personally, I hate them. If you want to ask me the worst thing about this car, it is the seats, because they're not that comfortable. They remind me of a plane seat, but I'm 6'2", and part of the reason they're uncomfortable for me is because I'm hunched over in these seats because of my height. If you're a shorter guy, like, you know, 5'10" or 5'9", then these might be perfect, okay? So yeah, that's the thing. So that's the thing with the seats, man, and that's the number one thing that I don't like about this car. But at the same time, if you want to be going to the track and that kind of thing, you want the lightest vehicle possible, then the carbon ceramics are good. Now, one thing is I wanted to show you is what kind of space you have in the back behind the seat. So let me pull the seat up. There it is. Lots of space in the back. These are normally seats in a 911, but in a GT3 they take the seats out. But you got extra storage space back here. Now, another thing I like about the GT3 and the trim for this car is it has Alcantara suede inserts with the red stitching and the leather as well. And it also has carbon fiber inserts, like carbon fibers here, Alcantara on the steering wheel, Alcantara in the seats, along with leather in the seats. You got the GT3 on the headrest. I mean, it's beautiful in the interior. I think it's the best interior on a Porsche. Look at the red gauges. All right, so let's go ahead and actually check out the inside of the car. Let me get inside so you guys can see. You got to kind of fall in this car, man. All right, the seats are manual. When you get these bucket seats, they're manual. All right, so I just dropped myself into the car. Getting in and out of this car is more difficult than any car I've ever owned. So that's number 2 thing on the do not like list. These carbon, and it's the seats. These bucket seats are hard to get in and out of. Let's start the vehicle up and take a closer look at the interior. So one thing about the Porsche is that the keys are on the left. They're not on the right, they're on the left. They do that for like racing heritage. Like, I think in Le Mans, people get inside the car and they, the stereo always turns on too, as soon as you get in the car. So that's something that they probably should fix. But anyway, the key is on the left. The reason why they did that is because years ago in racing heritage, for Le Mans, they would run to the cars, jump in the cars, and start the cars, and they figured it was easier to put the key on the left, or faster to put the key on the left. First, I wanted to show you some of the interior features of the vehicle. What I like a lot, and I had to have, red gauges. Check it out. You got oil temperature, oil pressure, speedometer, your RPM and mile per hour. And this is pretty cool. I'm not gonna do a full review of the electronics, but you got so many different settings you can scroll through. Audio, phone, even has GPS inside the dash. I think that's pretty dope. And the way I'm doing it is I flick this little switch here. All right, so this vehicle also has navigation, which of course, I like that. You can show the map. All your controls here in the dash, your temperature settings, radio settings, all that good stuff. This is a PDK transmission, one of the best, if not the best, automatic transmission in this car. And it's one of those things though where me personally, I love the transmission. I love how fast it shifts, but the one thing that I'm a little bit confused about is whether this car would be better in a manual or a PDK for me personally, because I bought this car to have fun with it, not really to take it to a track that much. I will probably, actually, I did plan on taking it to the track. So, but I want to daily drive it and just have, like when I'm in the mood to jump in this car and drive fast and drive quick, I want to get in this car and drive this car for fun. So that's the thing about the transmission. You got to choose, would you prefer to have more fun driving this car in a manual or with the PDK? And the PDK is pretty fun as well, which I'll show you guys when we go for a drive. Now, this is also an option to have the Sport Chrono, what they call this. You can get it in different colors. You can get like white, red, or black. This one's option with red, which I love. Carbon fiber, I love. It actually does have cup holders. They do work, but the placement is a little suspect, because if you get a spill, then it could end up going all over this area. It's also option with somebody thought this was NOS, which I thought was pretty cool, but this is actually a fire extinguisher. But that would be a dope little place for a little shot of NOS though, right? But yeah, this is the interior of the car though. Check it out, man. It's real nice on the inside. You feel like you're in a racing car, and it makes the experience a little bit more fun. But I know you guys are waiting for a drive and driving impressions, so let's go ahead and take it for a ride. Let's take this thing for a ride. So it has an electronic parking brake, similar to an Audi, that kind of thing. Now the 2015 Porsche GT3 does not have a backup camera, but it does have a front end lift, which is cool, coming out of a steep driveway like this. But you don't have a backup camera, so you kind of gotta use your mirrors and look behind you, that kind of thing. All right, so let's take this thing for a ride. Now, one thing that's nice is if you want to respect your neighbors, you can turn off or close the valves in the exhaust, and it's quiet by default actually. Now, if you want to make the car a little bit louder, there's two things you have to do in a PDK. All right, you got to turn on or open up the exhaust system, which is the button I just pressed here on the console. So now the exhaust valves will open up once you hit about 3,500 RPM. Now, to enhance the experience when you're in automatic mode and not using the paddle shifters or the manual shift here with the gear selector, you want to put it in PDK Sport, which is a button here on the console. As you can see, the car downshifted. Now you can hear it. Yes. Now, before I actually like when I was test driving this car, I had it, the PDK Sport was off, so it was shifting like granny shifting. Once I press that button for PDK on, then you can start to hear the exhaust, and the car it's a super high revving engine. It doesn't redline until 9,000 RPM, which a lot of people love. But me personally, I was a little bit worried about that when I bought this car, because I thought all of the torque and power was going to be in the high RPM range. But to be quite honest with you, and one of the pleasant surprises about this car is it has plenty of torque down low. It has plenty of torque down low. Like, it has torque. If you're sitting at 2,000 RPM and you floor it, the car's going to take off faster than most cars. And I don't care what kind of torque those cars have. It's a combination of how light this car is and just how they geared it. It's excellent. Now, one thing you can do that I like to do for fun in this car is either shift with the paddle shifters, which you can do at any time, no matter what mode the transmission is in. But the other thing that you can do is put the transmission or gear selector in manual mode by flicking it to the left. And once it's to the left, you can either drive it with the paddle shifters, or you can shift the gears up or down using the gear selector. If you want to downshift, you press it up like that, and then down for upshifting, like going to the next higher gear. You just flick it down. It's a little bit backwards in my opinion. I prefer that it would be reversed, but you get used to it. You just got to be conscious about it, you know what I mean? Especially if you're going to be driving spirited. So, but yeah, one thing about this car, man, I've just been thoroughly impressed with it. The only real complaints I have, all right, we're going to be able to take off here, and actually, I'm going to give you guys a pull. I'm going to give you guys a launch control, actually. Launch control in this vehicle is pretty awesome. All right, so let's see if we can pull this off with no cops. Hey, if there are any cops around, they ain't gonna catch me. There it is, man. Launch control is simple in this car. All you do is put it in automatic mode, so the transmission shifts automatically. Have it in PDK Sport. Put your foot on the brake, floor it. It'll rise the RPM till about 4,000. Then you let off the brake and it takes off. And as you can see, what happens when it takes off? It takes off. This car is fast, man. So that's one thing that, if I had a manual, I would miss being able to do those kind of launch controls and to be able to have that super fast quarter mile time compared to a this car. The problem with this car, man, is you want to drive it fast all the time. But let me tell you, so like with a manual, you don't have that launch control like that. That's the difference. So if you're like drag racing on a drag strip and you're in the manual versus the PDK, I would bet 9 times out of 10 the PDK is going to be faster. Now, one thing, if you check out Drag Time's channel, shout out to Brooks. On Drag Time's channel, he has the 2018 GT3 RS racing against a 2018 GT3. And the GT3 actually won. Probably it was a driver's race, actually. They were super close. But the thing is, they both were PDK transmissions, and they actually, the rated quarter mile time in this vehicle is around 11.1 to 11.3, and it depends on which magazine you look at. But on Drag Time's channel, they raced their GT3s, and they actually broke into the 10s. They did a 10.9 in a stock GT3 2018. Now the 2015, which this is 991.1, it has a little bit smaller engine. It has a 3.8 liter engine. flat 6 engine in this car, so it's probably a little bit slower than the 4.0 liter that is in the 991.2. all right, so 2015 or 2014 to 2017 is a 991.1. 2018 is a 991.2. So I got to be careful. There's a lot of cops around here. But now, what else might you want to know about this car? Does it drive stiff? Is it uncomfortable? Now, the most uncomfortable thing about this vehicle are the bucket seats. If you have the other, you know, like there's 4-way seats and then there's 18-way seats, and they're comfort seats. If you have those, then this car would be extremely comfortable. Comparing it, like I have a Mustang GT with the stock suspension on it, and this car is actually more comfortable on bumps than my Mustang GT, believe it or not. So this car, it handles great, it drives great. It's not too stiff, it's not too bumpy. I would say my Lamborghini Huracan is even stiffer over bumps than this car. So it's super comfortable. Definitely something you could daily drive. Now let's take it out of PDK Sport so you guys can hear me. All right, so super comfortable to drive. I really don't have any complaints about the power of this vehicle, about the drive of this vehicle, even the quality so far. I haven't had the car for that long, but the quality seems to be on point. The visibility out of the car is excellent. As you can see, I'm going into a narrow driveway to get in and out of my garage every day. The visibility is great. I don't have a backup camera in the 2015, but I can see well enough to get in and out of where I need to be. And the size of the car is excellent as well. So if you're comparing this car to other supercars out there, like a Lamborghini or even like a Hellcat or you know, cars like that, this car, the size of this car is excellent. So if you want to take it into the city and you know, you don't have to worry about parking with this vehicle, it's easy to park. It's narrow enough where you don't have to worry about people dinging your doors and that kind of thing. It's been great. Now, so far I've only complained about 2 things. That's getting in and out of the car, and these bucket seats are not comfortable for somebody of my height. But the other thing is, some people, if they're going to spend this amount of money on a vehicle, and these cars range anywhere from 110,000 on up to over 200,000 for a GT3. If you're going to spend that kind of money on a car, you almost want it to be an exotic car, because you can buy a Lamborghini for less than 100 grand. And if you drive a Lamborghini Gallardo to the mall or wherever, that car is going to actually get a lot of attention. People are going to be taking pictures of you and that kind of thing. The only people that recognize a 911 GT3 typically are car people, people that like cars, people that know or recognize that this is a special 911. Right, but other than the wing on the back, it looks like just about any other 991.1 911 out there. So if you're into the flash and you want that exotic feel when you're driving a car, this is probably not the best option. In the same price range, I would recommend, if you want that kind of thing, look for a used Gallardo, and you'll get plenty of attention in a Gallardo. But for me personally, I bought this car to have fun with it, to see what all the hype was about with a Porsche. Is it really a driver's car? And my resounding verdict as I pull into the Porsche dealership is yes, the hype is real and deserved. This is an excellent driver's car, and I'm looking forward to making some seriously good content for you guys on the channel. So this is Will Motivation. I want to say thanks for watching this video, and look forward to some more great Porsche GT3 content with the Lamborghini, content with the Hellcat. And if you're not familiar with my channel, I also do content on how I'm able to afford these cars, like investing in real estate. If you want to learn more about investing in real estate, check out my real estate channel, Real Estate 101, links in the description. This is Will Motivation signing out, pulling into the Porsche dealership to get this thing checked out for the oil change and service. And in the next video, I'll tell you how much that costs. Peace. Here with another video on how to turn $7,000 into over $100,000 in one single real estate investment transaction. You'll learn not only how to do flips, but also you'll learn the benefits of buying and holding and owning real estate for the long haul as rental property. So what do you do when you're interested in investing or spending money on something, or spending time, energy, and money on something? You study. You know what, I can buy these houses for cheap prices and then rent them out, make a profit on them, and then it'll just be another business. So if you don't already own a home or own a house, you should buy a house that is a good house that will turn into a good investment. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Will Motivation, and today we're talking about my advice on the #1 way for you to get started investing in real estate.